Hi, this video is for to whom it may concern, I suppose, and I am just going to give you a heads up as to kind of what I wanted to do in the 7th grade science thing. So let me just go into the 7th grade classroom. You know what? I'm going to open up both. I'm going to try opening up last semester's and also this one. Let's see. Quarter 1. There we go. Here we go. I'm going to open up this one in a new tab. And then I'm going to also open up this one right here. Alright, sorry, just getting things all situated. So, here's last year's, or the first semester's science class. I have it set up by weeks. I have no idea why it just started on week whatever. Oh, I get it. Okay, so in the first quarter, you'll find it at the bottom. The reason why it's at the bottom is because this is the tab I used for the first quarter. And then when the second quarter rolled around, I kind of reset and I put the first quarter at the bottom of the screen so that way the students still had access to that, but they didn't, that wasn't the first thing they saw. And then I started going through the different weeks as they go. So that's where you're going to find a lot of that information. So my first recommendation to you is I would definitely try to get on top of using or of doing starting the water resource project where they're doing a water filtration as soon as possible. In fact, basically take all of your labs that you're going to do in quarter 1 and make those the water filtration device. So the first lab you're going to do is maybe demonstrate what one looks like. I think that one of the things we found that is I would stay away from like making everyone build a certain the same water filtration device, because once I demonstrated for them one using water bottles, it turns out that like all of their projects pretty much ended up being the same exact thing. So I would choose maybe about 5 different water filtration projects. I would come up with 5 different ones, and then maybe assign to each student a different project that they will do. And so you have to filter water using using gravity, and you have to filter water using a distillation process, and you have to filter water. So that way you have some diversity there. In the first quarter, these are the kind of assignments I had. I would honestly scratch maybe even all of these, except for the ones that have to do with water filtration. You can see the labs that I had, and I did one where they were testing out water resources, and they were testing out the quality of water in different things and building a map based off of the groundwater. That test kit is upstairs in the science lab, and it's under, I think it's like made by Berkeley. It's a good project. I would have them do that, but again, focus mostly on the water filtration component. We were thinking about having them do the projects individually, and then having that due maybe in the middle of the semester, and then once they did the projects individually, we take all the students who did similar projects and we group them and say, all right, now taking what you've learned in your individual settings, go and build this big one as a group. And so then they'll work together and that kind of stuff. I think that would work. I didn't want to necessarily do a group project through the entire thing. I wanted to have that individual aspect to it, because if the entire project is a group project, it always ends up that one student does all the work, and we want to try to stay away from that. Let's see. I think that pretty much covers it. You can feel free to use any of these labs, obviously, and you can even watch the archives as to what I've covered and how I even run a class. This right here might be a good resource for you to check out. these things right over here, because this has to do with the water filtration. We tested luminosity, nitrates, and how many liters were produced. Um, we also tested bacteria, and I have the bacteria test upstairs. Um, you can ask whichever science teacher is around where those are at. Um, let's see. One of the components we wanted to try to add, and the reason why I'm telling you to get the filtration started as quickly as possible, is because one of the components I would like to see added to the project is we have some wind solar or wind power generators upstairs that the students can build, and you can use those things to have them um, maybe have some kind of pump that will pump the water up into the top of the filtration, and then have gravity pull it all down. I think that would be an awesome aspect. The Kauai team that we had did that, and they built a fan out of a rector set and a one-way valve out of a balloon and a couple of rubber bands, and it was really awesome. And we had it blowing the wind on there, and then they would pump the water up into their filter, and then have the filter go through. And they obviously just rocked the house on that one. One of the most creative aspects that I've seen as well, it also coming from the Kauai team, is the incorporation of the Marungai plants, which could help with that. Quarter 2 and quarter 3 and 4 are pretty straightforward. I used this text. The text that I specifically used a lot of was from Glencoe. I think it was called Ice Science. So I have the books upstairs. You can go take a look. But I basically have these things in PDFs. Let's see. No, this isn't it. It's the newest Ice Science. So I got a frog and a leopard and that kind of stuff. Let's see. You can look upstairs. Anyway, you can look for like Glencoe Ice Science. Let's find it. Glencoe Ice Science leopard. Yeah, that's the one. So it's this series right here. I have all 3 books. I think I have the frog upstairs, but I have the frog, leopard, and owl book upstairs, and I use their text to mainly do things out of their stuff. I made the quizzes and the reviews, and then got a lot of the labs based off of the labs that are inside of that book. So that's kind of my primary go-to. And then I have it mapped out for the rest of the year. So that should pretty much keep you covered. You can use, of course, any text you want. I just want to provide any resources that might be helpful in any regard. But the first lesson you're going through, what is alive, and then after that you're talking about, what are we talking about? Oh yeah, you're talking about like the different equipment and the microscopes and the labs and that kind of stuff. And then you get into the cell and the cell anatomy and those kinds of things. And then that should pretty much take you up to the end of this thing. Another big component that we ended up doing in quarter 2, and to be honest with you, I would really try to play this one up as best as you can. I don't know, it's up to you guys, but we did the Science Olympiad, and the Science Olympiad ended up being a really tough project, especially since we're in an online school. Try to learn to use that 3D printer, because that actually ended up helping us out a lot. But when you get into loading your Science 7B section, so this would be from January on, again, I have everything pretty much mapped out for you to be able to do. And I broke it down by week because this format matches what the English teacher and hopefully the social studies teacher and the math teacher are doing as well. You'll have to obviously go in and edit these dates, and I'll let them show you how to do that. Anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. I think that I'm on good terms with the school, and so I have no problem with helping out a fellow teacher. I know how incredible. I mean, maybe you might be coming in and you might have all these years of experience in the Dewey, and I had about 6 years of experience, teaching at community college and teaching at various schools on the west coast of Oahu, and I came in, and I'll tell you, man, it was a wall. And I'm actually really good with technology, but there was like just this learning curve. So if it becomes overwhelming, just know that everyone has gone through that, and please feel free to contact me anytime. Okay. All right. I hope that helps. Take care.